Hello everyone and welcome back to SPIRITISMx 2021. I am Adam from Kardec Group, and so for those of you who did not get a chance to watch the first part of this year's event, you'll be able to watch Block 1 again on the Kardec Group YouTube channel at any time, as well as on the channel of our stream. But no, don't go there now. Wait, watch the rest of Block 2 first, then you can watch Block 1 again if you really need to, but stay here for Block 2. Thank you. So let's see what we have planned for Block 2. We will have with us today Charles Kempf from France, Sonia Araújo from Denmark, and Anne Sinclair from the UK. Unfortunately, Luciane Sorino, who is going to be talking about the powerful energy of food, cannot be with us today. So we will just have the 3 talks in this block. But we will still have our roundtable at the end, plus selecting a winner for the prize draw. And congratulations again to Jérôme, who won in Block 1. So, as with always, we'd love to have everyone interacting with us during the event. So you can send us a salut, guten Abend, aloha, ciao at any time via the live chat, which should be on just on the side there or below wherever you're watching from. And we'll try and say hello back to you. And we've already got a few people commenting and saying hello right now. And you can also use you can also use the live chat to send your questions for our guests about their talks. And if you saw Block 1, you'll see that we had some very nice questions indeed. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the Kardec Group channel. There we go. And I have just lost all of my notes. I do apologize. Please give a like and subscribe to the Kardec Group channel, as well as to all of our partner partners here on YouTube today, which is the Irish Spiritist Federation, the British Union of Spiritist Societies, the International Spiritist Council, Rede Amigo Espírita TV, Spiritist Network, and EspiritismoNet. So, I think we can go almost straight into our very first talk today. So, we will be having up with us first is Charles Kempf. So, who will be talking about preparing for regeneration beyond our comfort zone. Now, I do apologize, I've just got the wrong thing loaded up. There we go. Right, I've got the correct one now. So, Charles Kempf is from Belfort in France and has been working in the French and international Spiritist movement since 1992. He was secretary of the International Spiritist Council, member of the Executive Committee, and led the European coordination. Charles is the president of the French Spiritist Federation, as well as member of the French-speaking Spiritist movement. Charles is a researcher on the history of Spiritism and Allan Kardec, and has led the Centre d'études Spirit Lyonnais in Tharn, France since 1997. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll pass you over now to Charles for the first talk of this block.
Hello, it's a very big pleasure to have been invited. I thank you so much for this SPIRITISMx 2021 event. The third time already, once presential in 2019 and then virtual already 2020. And the theme of today is preparing for regeneration. And for this, we need to go beyond our comfort zone. So that is the little speech that I will try to develop today. Okay. First of all, remembering this book, which has been printed 164 years ago, 18th of April, 1857, which is really a revolutionary book, as I explained in previous lives, still not recognized as such in his true value. This book is really a disruption towards all the concepts of the past. First, the concept of religion, of the dogmatic faith, of all these things that we need to believe just because it is written or because the Pope is saying or what, I don't know what more, heteronomously, because everything is examined with good, with common sense, reason, and based on experiments. Second, also in disruption of the traditional science, which at that time was developing in a materialist paradigm, like scientism and positivism of Auguste Comte, Laplace, and so on, from which Allan Kardec really took best of both of them. He took the best of the religions, which are the moral teachings, these diamonds that Jesus left us 2,000 years ago, and which are in line with the roots, the basis of all the religious movements around the world. Second, he also took the best out of science, which is the methodology, the scientific methodology, from Descartes and so on, and removing all this dogmatic stuff, all these rituals, all the stuff which has been introduced by mankind in the religions, and also removing this narrow view of materialistic paradigm of the science, and taking the best of both, he made something new, which is Spiritism. And this is basically what this book is showing, explaining, and inaugurating. So it's really a clear disruption with this concept we had in the past. So Kardec wrote, of course, also other books, one of which is the one you can see here, the Genesis. And in this book, it came a little bit in the other books, but in this one in particular, he is talking about this change which is happening right now, transition of the Earth from a world of trials and experiences to a world of regeneration. And clearly, this notion of changing, of new era or whatever, you can see it in most of the spiritualist movements, and in Spiritism as well. The spirits are very clear about this. And I will show you two quotes here from this book. And Kardec is writing in the item 5 of this section 18 of Genesis. Up till now, humankind has made incontestable progress. Due to their intelligence, humans have achieved results never reached before regarding the sciences, arts, and material well-being. I remember here he wrote this more than 150 years ago. Look today, how this is even much more true than what it was 150 years ago. Still, the next part is, there is much progress yet to be made. However, they have yet to make charity, fraternity, and solidarity reign amongst them in order to assure their moral well-being. Again, if we compare this written 150 years ago, did we progress in this field? Sure, yes, we did. But are we really in the reign of charity, fraternity, solidarity reigning amongst us humans? Not yet fully. Of course, it's much better than it was 150 years ago, but still, there is a long way to go, isn't it? So this is exactly why we have to go think out of the box and go out of our comfort zone. Let me come back to it a little bit later. Kardec is also stressing exactly the difficulty of this change, of this move, of these transitions that we have to go, this step, this quantic jump that we have to go along. He is writing, such a state of affairs presupposes a radical change in the sentiment of the masses, a generalized progress that cannot be accomplished except by quitting the circle of the narrow and petty ideas that fosters selfishness. Very good, isn't it? These narrow and petty ideas that foster selfishness. Do we still have some selfishness in ourselves? I must admit, yes, still have. It's very, selfishness and pride are really the two monsters that we have to fight against, isn't it? All of us. Once we have this get rid of, then of course the thing will completely change in ourselves, and then by our example, the whole world will also change. Kardec is continuing also telling, the generation that disappears will take its errors and prejudices with it. The generation that emerges, immersed in a purer source and imbued with more sound ideas, will imprint on the world an ascendant movement in the sense of moral progress, which will signal the new phase for humankind, which is exactly this regeneration. And what is he writing here? He's writing that new generations are coming, and indeed, the spirits are teaching us that we have spirits coming from more elevated planets than the Earth, incarnating on the Earth in order to help the Earth make this jump. And they tell also that the spirits which are really a little bit behind this moral progress, this evolution, they will also emigrate in these cases to planets which are less evolved than the Earth, that we could compare with the Earth a couple of millenniums ago. Okay, so what will the Earth population be completely renewed? No, not at all. Some new spirits, elevated spirits, are coming to help us, and we can see this in a lot of signs right now. You have children which are very high elevated, very young, and so on, showing goodness and things that really uncommon. And on another hand, the less advanced will emigrate. But the big part of the spirits, which are, I would say, I hope being part of them, which are here on Earth, don't need to emigrate. We just need to follow this movement of moral progress again, so that we can stay here in this world, which will, of course, in this case with us, become better and enter in this period of regeneration after the expiations and trials that we have today. Continuing, when we take a little bit some ideas from, going out of the comfort zone, you find a lot of coaching. I myself, in the company I was working for, got some training of this, because of course, there is a natural resistance to change. Everyone has a natural resistance to change. And here you can see the basics for this. We think we are not competent, we are not capable, we are attached to the current state, to the habits, to the comfort. We are not prepared to consider new things. And also we may have also some negative experience with previous changes. So all this in us, the human has fearing what he doesn't know really, where there is an uncertainty. This all, according to the law of preservation, is leading to this natural resistance of change. Okay, so now I found also this illustration, which is very interesting. If we stay in our comfort zone, we are missing a lot of things. Here, this image suggests we are missing part of life. How can we become better? How can we improve something if we stay where we are, if we stay in our comfort zone? How can we evolve? How can we progress? How can we think and do things out of the box if we don't go out of the comfort zone? It's also absolutely obvious. And I found also another image, I hope it's readable, which is illustrating exactly this move and the difficulties we have to do this move, because the comfort zone, as you can see in the gray part on the left side of the square, is surrounded by the fear zone, exactly the slide I just showed. Lack of self-confidence. We always find excuses. No, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it later. We are affected by others' opinion and so on. This is exactly this fear zone, which is then giving the resistance. But as soon as we are able to go through, to jump, to cross this fear zone, we come into two other zones that you can see here, the learning zone and the growth zone. And let's look a little bit what they are saying here. Some of the items, I will not go through them because we don't have the time. The first item they say as the learning zone is we have to deal with challenges and problems. Okay, problems is part of the nature. We have really to deal with these challenges and problems. And of course, when we go out of the comfort zone, in the learning zone, we will face more of those. And here is exactly where the Spiritism is helping us, the Spiritist body of knowledge or the Spiritist philosophy, because it gives us the strength, it gives us the view, it gives us the logic and the reason of all these laws which are governing the spiritual world, and all these moral laws, which are helping us outstandingly to deal with these challenges and problems. Then you can see another one, acquire new skills. Yes, of course, Spiritism is bringing all this light about studying, analyzing the mediumistic phenomenon, all this development which happened even after Kardec along the centuries, a lot of new knowledge, a lot of new elements, a lot of new evidences that we get that first we have a soul, second that this soul is not disappearing with what we call the death, it's surviving, and third even that this soul is evolving through reincarnation and in successive lives. So we have all these new skills, these new information that are brought by also by the Spiritist teachings. Let's now jump to the next zone, which is a growth zone. Find purpose. Again, as I just talked about reincarnation, we see the purpose of life, where we come from, why we are here on the earth, and where we go to. Our spirit is evolving, progressing stepwise after each life. Let's go to the next one. Live dreams. What we are dreaming to become better, to have a better world, we know now the path through it, giving us clearly these images and notions about the evolved world, about this regeneration world where we are going to. We are setting new goals. We have new vision of the future, and also we can define some objectives and conquer them by doing our inner reform. And you know what? We even get some help right now about this. COVID, we are at the 5th wave. There is a recession. You can see now the price of energy climbing, climate change, and so on, which can be even worse now with the COP26. I heard today at the TV that a lot of French people, they are more happy after the COVID. 80% of the people say they are happy, which is more than the percentage of the people who said they are happy before the COVID. And a lot of them say, we stopped, we could hold on, we could think about, we found a new strength, a new energy to restart on a better way, to do the things differently, to go out of our comfort zone and to make the necessary changes to reach this regeneration world. This is my finishing already, the profile of the good leader. Jesus gives us also an outstanding example. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. So all the leaders, the natural leaders must follow this example. And this is more and more recognized nowadays, even in the business area. The good leader is the one who is with his team, fighting together with them, motivating them in order to reach the goal. And this must be our future leaders. It's not yet, but Jesus told us, showed us the example 2,000 years ago. Let's follow this track. Just for finishing, out of charity, there is no salvation. Thanks a lot, Allan Kardec, for bringing us all this teaching. And thanks a lot to all of you for your attention and your time.
Thank you so much, Charles. And obviously, we'll come back to you for the round table a little bit later. So if you have any questions for Charles, please send them in the live chat. And, you can also send us a hello. And so let's go and say hello to a few people who are watching with us already. So let's say hello to Elsa, to Lee, Leonore, Erica, Georgia, Sonia, Natalia, Lolita, Anna Paula, Adair, Claudia, Mariana, Zainab, and Ruben. Thank you all for being with us today. So again, we're in block 2 of SPiritismx. If you missed block 1, you can go and find it on the Kardec Group YouTube channel a little bit later. So we will go now already to our next talk, which is going to be with there we go, that's the one. It's going to be with Sonia Araújo. So she'll be talking about healing, being an open channel. Sonia is a biologist and works in a hospital as a hospital lab technician in Copenhagen, Denmark. She is the president of the Spiritist Foreningen, Allan Kardec. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. So the Allan Kardec Spiritist Group in Denmark, and is the manager of the online bookstore Kardec Burger, having worked in the coordination and translation of Spiritist books into Danish. For over 15 years, she has worked with the Brazilian painting medium and our good friend Florencio Anton to bring mediumship painting to Denmark and Sweden. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will hand you over now to Sonia for her talk.
Hello. Today we will be talking about healing, and I'd like to take you through some questions which are: what does healing mean? And we will be looking at: can we heal ourselves? Can I heal others? What is this cosmic fluid and perispirit which you talk about in Spiritism? What does healing mean? Well, according to Webster Dictionary, it means to become sound or healthy again, create harmony and joy. Many of us are natural healers. Maybe you remember a situation when you were comforted as a child and you felt relief. Or maybe you have yourself comforted a child that had a hurt and you felt the urge to blow the area that was hurt. Or maybe you have had the experience of feeling great relief after a good conversation with a friend. To heal and search healing is natural for all of us. Can I heal others? Well, since ancient times, people have tried to heal each other. Maybe you remember the old shamans, the medicine men from the Indian tribe. They instinctively knew that there is a power somewhere which they can connect to and heal with. Allan Kardec was interested in knowing if it was possible for people to heal others. And this was because he himself had had some experiences with mesmerism, magnetism, and magnetic healing. In the Spirit's book, question 556, Allan Kardec asks the spirits: do some individuals really possess the gift of healing by touch? And they answer: the magnetic power may act to that extent when it is supported by a purity of intent and the fervent desire to do good. In such a case, good spirits render their services. In Genesis chapter 14, item 34, we see that Allan Kardec writes about the faculty to cure. If it is common that this faculty of curing by the fluidic influx is common, and he says that it can develop itself by exercise. This means that the healing powers of an individual who has the intention and the desire to help someone get support from the invisible world. When you talk with a friend who is in distress and you are there using your power to heal. Your intention and your thoughts of care are in a certain vibration that connects you to a higher source of energy, and then you naturally transfer this to your friend. And this is because your mind is connected to other minds in the same vibration, with the same wish to heal and help. Well, but how does this energy flows? Healing is the use of energy to bring things into balance. We are energy, and we are surrounded by energy all the time. We exchange energy with each other and with nature. In the book Genesis, Allan Kardec teaches about the perispirit. He says that the perispirit is originated of the elementary matter, the universal cosmic fluid, which fills the whole universe. Everything is made of this primary energy. This means that our physical body is made from this primitive matter, and so is our spiritual body, this perispirit. This spiritual body, which in Spiritism we call perispirit, has different names in other and different cultures and philosophies, like astral body or bioplasmatic body. So this astral body or perispirit is very sensitive to thoughts and feelings. Our thoughts are powerful. Emmanuel says that the human being can be compared to a spider living in the center of its web. We, the human beings, live in the center of a great thoughts web, where thoughts is this big web we create energetically, connecting us to everything and everybody around us. Louise Hay, in her book called Save Your Life, she affirms that by changing our thoughts, it's possible to heal a disease or any other situation. She teaches how affirmations can help us to achieve this. She was a great spiritual leader and teacher in her time, in spite of her very difficult start in life. So we can say that our thoughts influence our emotions, our brain, and its function. And the brain will, at the end, produce substances that manifest either a state of disturb and disease or a state of joy and happiness. Our thoughts create our own reality. When you are in contact with nature, you are exchanging energy. You are both giving and receiving energy. This process happens all the time, naturally. When we feel unbalanced, we can rebalance by doing things which we know give us energy and lift us up. A walk near the sea or in the forest, listening to good music, a good talk with a friend. All these different things are techniques we can use for healing ourselves. If you visit a Spiritist center, you will notice that the center offers information meetings, healing, and magnetized water. The water is an important part of the treatment, just as important as the healing received from the mediums. You will also be instructed in using prayers, because prayers are thoughts, and thoughts create vibrations. The information meetings, as well as the lectures and study groups, are part of this treatment for the soul. That's because real healing can only happen when we get to know ourselves, when we get to know why we are here and where we are going, when we start to understand why we got into this situation and how to avoid getting there again. I will tell you a story about healing. This is an example of how spirits manipulate matter for our benefit. I have this story from my friend Christina, who experienced this by herself. In a Spiritist center in Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, The volunteers noticed that the children had difficulties to follow the activities. They were tired. They were running to the toilet all the time, and some of them had pain in their tummies, in their stomach. One day, in a mediumship meeting, the spirit guide of the institution told the volunteers that these kids were distressed because they had parasites, which influenced their physical conditions. The spirit asked the volunteers to buy an inoffensive medicine from the pharmacy, anything very cheap, like vitamin pills. Then these pills were placed at the desk of each child with a glass of water during the teaching, and the child would not touch before the end of class. After class, the children were asked to take the pills, and they were told it was a very important medicine, and so the children did. About 3 months later, the children were now more active and looked healthy. They got colors on their cheeks. The spirits had manipulated the pills and the water so each child could get the treatment that was specific for each of them from the spirits. Allan Kardec discussed this theme about manipulating matter with the spirits. In the Medium's book, question 128, item 11 and 12, in a dialogue with a spirit, Kardec asks, if a spirit had compounded a poisonous substance and some human being should swallow it, would the latter be poisoned? Such a compound could be made, but no spirit could make it, for he would not be permitted to do so, answered the spirits. So it was possible to produce this thing, but spirits would not have allowance to do it because the purpose was not a higher purpose. But Allan Kardec continues, questioning again. Could he fabricate a substance that would be beneficial to health and capable of curing a malady? And has such a thing ever been done? So he asks again if the spirits could produce a substance, but this time not poison, but beneficial to health. And if this substance then could cure a disease. And he asks, has this ever happened? And the spirits answer, yes, very often. They not only answer, yes, it is possible, but they say this happens all the time. It happens with all of us all the time. Allan Kardec discusses in the Genesis, he talks a little bit about how spirits manipulate substances, matter. Spirits act upon spiritual fluids not by manipulating them as men manipulate gas, but by the aid of thought and will. Thought and will are to the spirit that which the hand is to man. By thought, they impress these fluids into such and such directions. They agglomerate them, combine or disperse them. They form harmonious wholes of them, which have a definitive appearance, form, and color. They change the properties of them as a chemist changes those of gas or other bodies by combining them by following certain laws. So the spirits, by the means of thought and their will, they change, they manipulate the spiritual fluids. That's the same as saying energy, the subtle energies that is all around us. And they can manipulate and give these products of their manipulation the properties they wish to. And that is what happened when the kids took their vitamin pills and got cured for the disease. According to Joanna de Angelis, is true health not only restricted to the harmony and functioning of body organs, but has a greater scope that comprises inner serenity, emotional balance, and aesthetic, artistic, cultural, and religious aspirations. And Emmanuel, the spirit guide of Chico Xavier, says, health is the perfect harmony of the soul. So, my friends, it's not only the physical body we should seek healing for, because healing is much more than heal the physical body. True health is the perfect harmony of the soul. So, healing the soul should be what we seek in first place, and all the rest will be given us in addition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for that very, very reflective talk. And of course, if anyone has any questions for Sonia or for Charles, please put them in the live chat. You can do that here on the Kardec Group YouTube channel or on the channels of wherever you're watching. And, please also remember to give us a little like and subscribe. Please make sure that you like and subscribe the channel that you're watching on, because that's actually quite important for us. So, we want to take this opportunity now to mention our high five campaign again. Let me bring that up. So as a reminder, and again, we know that some of you have already heard this, some of you probably have not, but this is a campaign that is organized by us here at Kardec Group. Grupo Espírita Sheila in Salvador, and which is run by Florencio Anton, and Instituto Multidimensional in Curitiba, run by Daniel Rossi, are non-profit organizations which support their local poor communities in Brazil. Both of these groups work to provide educational and social care. They help with food bundles, baby boxes, things like housing people to make sure that, they have somewhere safe to sleep. And these people normally do not get support from anywhere else. And so I'm sure everyone can appreciate that during this pandemic, the needs have been higher, but the resources have actually been a lot lower. And so Florencio and Daniel, they work tirelessly to support their respective communities. And it's only right that we help them too, if we can. So us here at Kardec Group want to help. So can you spare 20, 10, or even £5? Because that's all it takes, the same cost of, let's see, going out for less than going out to a restaurant, to be honest. Less than going to a popular fast food restaurant. You can't go to most fast food restaurants for £20 anymore. It costs a lot more. So, even going out for a coffee costs a lot more. And we're talking about just a small amount. If everyone were to donate a small amount every month to this cause, then these two groups can make sure that children are off the streets, that they're in safe activities, that families can put food on their plates, food on the table, food's in their belly, and that people can have a secure home to live in. So come and please give us a high five. For more information about this, please go to our website, www.kardec.org.uk. The address is there on the screen for you. And on that page, you can find all the details of how to donate through us via a bank transfer or PayPal, or you can go directly and donate direct to these two groups if you have an account in Brazil. Now, if you do donate through us through the High Five campaign, 100% of the donations received for this campaign will go to these groups. We don't keep anything. It goes directly to them. And of course, like I said, if you're in Brazil, you can donate. You can donate directly. And we do have to always say thank you to everyone who has been donating over this past year. It has made more difference than you can perhaps imagine. We regularly talk to these two guys, and they are always saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So a million thank yous from them. And that's it. So please go whenever you can to the High Five website, subscribe to just a few pounds a month, £5 a month. It's not going to harm most people, but it may help more people than you can imagine. Right, let's go and say hello to a few more people who are watching with us. And we've got lots of lovely questions coming in for the round table later as well. So we have Lazaru, Lindalva, Maura, Gerald, Ed Nelson, Steven, and quite a few more. So thank you all for being with us, for joining us here on the Kardec Group YouTube channel, Kardec Group Facebook page, and also the YouTube channels of our streaming partners. And again, like I said, give a like, give a thumbs up, give a like, give a subscribe, share, let other people know. And again, if you didn't watch block 1 of this event, you can find it on our channel later on. So, as we said before, unfortunately, we only have 3 talks in this block. Luciana cannot be with us, so we are going to go now already to our next talk, which is with Anne Sinclair, who will be talking about attaining peace for the self and the planet. Sorry. Right. Anne Sinclair is a Spiritist lecturer and co-host of Kardec Group's Insightfully Speaking podcast, living in Hemel Hempstead in the UK. She was part of the Allan Kardec study group run by Janet Duncan and is a member of the Family Spiritist study group. Anne has acted as an English interpreter for the well-known Brazilian medium Givaldo Franco on his regular visits to the UK for over 30 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll pass you now to Anne for the last talk in this block.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Adam. And I must say congratulations to Charles and Sonia, who spoke before me, for their very inspired talks. I hope that my talk might contribute as well. It's interesting because the topic is around the issue of peace. And just recently, last Sunday, for example, here in the UK, it was Remembrance Sunday. On Remembrance Sunday that takes place every year, the country stops to remember the victims of war, particularly the victims of the First and Second Great Wars. So for those of us who live in Europe, the impact of World War I and World War II is still felt in most families, because when we look at the number of the dead, they were spread between civilians and soldiers. So the amount of people that were affected, families that were affected, was just pretty much permeating the whole of society. So when you go here to Remembrance Sunday and people bring red poppies, which is the symbol of the First World War, and you stop and you think about the relatives who've passed on in wars, the names, the lists of names in the memorials everywhere, and you think, what are we doing? why are we having these massive wars with millions and millions of people being killed? It makes you think about peace and thinking, well, can we guarantee that we will carry on living in peace? Is our peace secure? When we talk about peace like this, we're thinking about peace meaning the absence of war. But it's at the same time that we think that we are in Europe potentially living peace of a lack of a war at the moment. In other parts of the world, they are suffering wars. The wars are happening everywhere. And the issue around peace becomes really a global issue. And you think, wow, what can I, as a little individual, do in regards to world peace? And I think that Spiritism helps us to find our place in God's creation, to find our place in the world, to find our place within ourselves, and to think, how can I contribute? What is my role? What can I do? And we can have a little look at different aspects on the issue of peace. So if we want a world that is a peaceful world, we need to build a peaceful society. And a peaceful society is built by peaceful people, because our society reflects who we are, where we are at. And when I talk here, I want to remind us all that the Spirit suggests to Allan Kardec that we are in a world of tests and atonements, which is a world that is just above a primitive world, but in which evil and materialism outstrip spirituality and kindness. But we are moving on, as Charles was saying, preparing for the world of regeneration. So how can we be preparing to make that transition? And what is it in us that makes us think that we have made this world of war possible? Because in some way, all of us who are incarnate on the world, we are creating the society in which we live. Although this might feel a bit uncomfortable to think about it, and we tend to blame others, for it is others who are doing the wars, it's others who are aggressive, it's others who are violent. In some way, because we are here, we're thinking, well, we may have a role to play as well. So what could we do to contribute to world peace? And I'll take us first back to thinking about who we are. We are spirit. We come from the spiritual world. We are temporarily incarnated on earth for an experience, for an episode of learning, of development, and then we return to the spiritual world. So our essence is spirit, but we borrow from the material world a physical body, which is our tool, our instrument of interaction in this world. Of course, and Sonia put it so nicely, we have a perispirit, which is our astral body, which comes with us from the spiritual world and returns to the spiritual world. So when we are here, we are interacting with the material world. So we belong in a way to the material world through our physical body, but we are energy, we are spirit, and we are connecting to the spiritual world through that. So we are living on many dimensions. We are multidimensional beings. So where does our peace come from? There was talk before about in the first block that if you want to help somebody, think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but you can also think about the levels of the brain. First, we need to have our immediate needs satisfied, our food, our shelter, survival. And then we need to move on to our emotions as a mammal. We need love and understanding. Only after that are we able to develop our cognitive abilities to a higher understanding, to our philosophy, to our sort of more expanded kind of way of thinking. So where are we? If we are on our basic needs, we need to look after our basic needs. Will we have peace if we are hungry? We will not have peace if we are hungry, because we will go on our instinctive survival, fighting for food, whatever it is. So we can see that in our trajectory as humanity, that our conquest, our development on a material level has been a lot about survival. And when we overcome survival, then it is about our power, our conquest, about showing that we are greater, about conquering other peoples. That is the history that we know when we look back, that we can see of humanity. And who are humanity? We are humanity. So we are they, and we are the future as well. So when we look and say, okay, if I live in a situation where my basic needs are already met, what next for me? I can start to think about how my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, as been said before in the other talks today, how does that affect my physical well-being, my material body? We know that our thoughts and our emotions affect our brain, that releases hormones that act on a cellular level, affecting the way our body is able to interact, heal, or become ill. So when we think about our inner state, what are our thoughts and our feelings? Where is our inner peace? What is inner peace? How can we discover our inner peace? Are we peaceful inside? What does that mean for each one of us? And one of the things that we need to start thinking about when we have this opportunity is the invitation that the spirits bring to us in question 919 of the Spirits book, which is about self-knowledge. There is a lot on the internet nowadays, everywhere. We start looking for it. There is a myriad of possibilities of learning about self-knowledge. But self-knowledge, the spirits already in the 19th century were saying to us, it is difficult because it's difficult for us to actually see ourselves in all our truth. For we tend to hide the things that are uncomfortable. We build this persona to show the world, and we end up by believing it. So we make this character that is flawless, that is good, that is showing to society what they would like to see, and then we end up by believing it. So what is really going on in our hearts? How can we really come to know ourselves? Because our peace can only be built on our truth and looking and understanding who we truly are. We move away here from that thought and ideology of blaming our impulses, of blaming our passions, but looking at ourselves with interest and curiosity, for we are divine beings. We are the creatures that God has created, and we are spirits, beings in development, in growth. And whatever we see, if we don't like it, we need to look at it with more interest. Sometimes we can say our selfishness of today might have helped us to survive in the past, because we put ourselves first in order to survive. So things that are within us, they are not the work of, inverted commas, the devil, but they're there because they are a result of how we evolved. If we try something out and it works, then we tend to repeat that. Our brain, our body, they try to resolve problems in the shortest distance using the less energy. So if we attempt something and we get a good result, then we carry on doing things that same way. To change, as Charles so well said, is difficult because we have already programmed ourselves, or if I do this, I will achieve this. So if we want to do things in a different way, we need to put some extra energy into it, and we need to be brave because the result might be different and we're not sure what that result might be. One day when I was agonizing about a decision, what to do, a spirit suggested to me, why do you agonize about making the right decision? Decisions are decisions. You, based on your knowledge and your instinct, choose which one you think is the one that will give you the best results. When you've chosen and gone through with it, then you will live the results, the consequences of your choice. If this choice was not good, the consequences would be not good. But you will have learned, you will have experienced for truthfully how that comes to be. It might be that if you choose the different one, you don't know what the consequences of that would have been because you didn't make that choice. So as we go through, each choice that we make, each decision that we make, let us be brave and let us accept and look at the consequences, because they are the stepping stones that come to us. So even when we're saying we're now in the UK living our famous Brexit, which for some people was very agonizing, but for other people it was a joy because it was a victory. So society was divided. And I remember somebody asking Divaldo, "Oh, what should we vote? Should we vote for Brexit or against Brexit?" And he says, "Vote for whichever one you think is the best. And whichever result comes out, you will experience. Either you will have the experience of living in a Brexit, or you will have the experience of continuing to live in the EU. Both will be experiences. There will be different experiences, but they will teach you different lessons." So we can see, why am I telling you these stories? Because thinking about peace. So when we are distressed about making a choice, our peace goes out the window. We get nervous, we get anxious, we are worried. And we can see that all this is generating hormones of stress. Our cortisol goes up, our adrenaline might be going. All these things can be also affecting our health and our well-being. So when we start to look at our lives from a different perspective, and we start to think, you know what, I can make this choice. Whatever the results, I tried my best, and I will learn from the results of that choice, knowing that I will not always get things right, because I am still a spiritual child. Or sometimes I even refer to myself as a spiritual toddler, because that is how early on we are still in our spiritual development. And we learn by trial and error. And it's okay to make mistakes, as long as we learn from them and then we develop. So as I start to know myself, and I start to understand what are the things that distress me and upset me, what makes me lash out to others, what makes me angry, what make me violent, I need to know that. And I need to accept that I have these traits in me that can be triggered in this or that way. Because by looking at that and accepting it, I say, okay, I have behaved in a selfish way. I can see that that might have served me. Let me think how I can do things a bit differently now, and make a different choice. And make a choice from a place of conscience, of a place of looking for peace. So when I transform myself, and I become a more peaceful being, that in the midst of a confusion or of an argument where people are losing their calm, if I might be able to remain calm and see it from what it is and try to apaciguate, or just by my presence bring peace, I will be contributing to world peace. For world peace will be built by the peace in our hearts and in our minds of all of us. But if we become a presence of peace in our family, in our workplace, in our neighborhood, that presence of peace affects others. Maybe we can think of peace a bit like light. Darkness is everywhere, but if you put the light on, the darkness dissipates. If you bring peace, that also dissipates the violence. And if you think of people who have walked through the world bringing examples of peace, like Jesus, like St. Francis of Assisi, like Buddha, like Gandhi, so many, they are outstanding because they are so peaceful in the midst of very violent societies. And most of them died in violent ways. But that didn't take away their peace, because they have the bigger picture. And we must remember the bigger picture, that we are spirits. We are eternal spirits. We have come from the spiritual world. We return to the spiritual world. We have this opportunity at this moment to experience the world as it is, but to bring our contribution as we develop ourselves, just as we did in the past. For even if we think that the world is a violent and aggressive place as yet, it is much less so now than it was before. And for sure, as Charles was saying, it will be much less so in the future. We are inevitably moving forwards. The law of progress the Spirit suggests to us in the Spirit's book is unavoidable. We shall all be moving forwards one way or another. If we go with the current, if we swim with the current, if we put our efforts into action now, then we can be making a bigger contribution, and we will have peace. Even if there is chaos around us, if there's violence around us, we have peace in our hearts that will benefit our health, our well-being. And although we might be sad and we could be upset, but we will not lose our peace. So I just bring you these thoughts for tonight around the issues of peace. It is a complex subject. It is something that we are on the pathway to, but have yet to be able to conquer. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Annie, for that wonderful talk. We shall bring you back later for the round table. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Anne, for Sonia, or for Charles, please make sure that you send them now via the live chat. And no, we still have quite a few people sending some wonderful questions. Anyone who watched block 1, you'll see that we had some great questions coming up there. And we have quite a lot of really interesting questions already for our team now. So if you have any more questions, please send them as soon as you can. Now, we wanted to mention again a new campaign that Kardec Group is supporting. It's a fundraising campaign that we are supporting, which is the Johanna de Angelis Translation Project, which is an official campaign by the Brazilian Spiritist Medical Association, by Mansão do Caminho, by Centro Espírita Caminho da Redenção, and Liel. So here again is that short message from Gilson Luiz Roberto, who is the coordinator of the Center for Spiritism and Psychology of the Brazilian Spiritist Medical Association, Amigo Brazil. My friends, it's with great joy that we announce at this moment a joint effort of the whole Spiritist movement in favor of the translation of the works of the psychological series of Johanna de Angelis into English. This is a campaign that we from the Center for Psychology and Spiritism of Amigo Brazil are conducting so that the benefactor's work may be translated by native English speakers and have the depth and seriousness it needs, as it is extremely complex material which requires a lot of care to be translated. We count on everyone for this campaign so that not only the benefactor's work, but other books related to the psychological series can reach as many people outside of Brazil as possible. We count on everyone. A big hug, and may the divine light bless us in this project. I'm sorry, I was being told that my microphone was switched off. Here I was talking away. So this is the Johanna de Angelis Translation Project. We are asking all those who are interested in helping to donate towards these new English editions, which will be used to help to bring the benefactor's teachings to thousands of people around the world. Now, to make a donation is very, very simple. You can see the address there on these posters. And if you go to this website, www.kardec.org.uk/Joanna, Joanna, and on that page, you will find these two posters, both in English and in Portuguese, as well as the PayPal buttons for you to make your donations in British pounds, Brazilian reais, US dollars, or euro. Now, any amount is going to be incredibly welcome, and all donations for this campaign will go 100% to this project and nowhere else. So just to repeat that website address again, it is www.kardec.org.uk/Joanna. Thank you. So it is time now for us to choose a second winner. No, we're having technical difficulties with our little spinner, so bear with me for one moment. And again, we're going to be choosing a name at random. This isn't the interlude that we were hoping for. But anyway, so we will be choosing a name at random, and one lucky winner will be winning a bundle of Spiritist books. Right. So let me share my screen. There we go. So, drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see whose name is going to come up. And remember, if your name is selected, please say hello. Please contact us straight away, because if you're not watching live, then we're going to choose another name. So if your name is the name that's selected, please contact us as swiftly as you can. Let's go. Round it goes, round it goes. Lauren Spence. Lauren Spence, if you are watching, please drop us a line. Please say hello, because you are the winner, hopefully, of a bundle of Spiritist books. So Lauren Spence, please contact us as soon as you can. Just send any comment in the live chat, and just to confirm that you are indeed watching live. And if not, we will choose another name in a moment. So, where are we going next? Well, we're going to have now a short musical interlude. And the piece of music that we are going to play now is called Salut d'Amour by Edward Elgar. And this piece has been performed by Federico Gouveia, who is a violinist and conductor, and who will be with us tomorrow in Block 3. So sit back and relax for the next few moments and send us your questions for the roundtable as well. And if your name is Lauren Spence and you are watching live with us, please let us know. Okay, so here we go. Salut d'Amour by Edward Elgar, performed by Federico Gouveia. So thank you again, Frederico Gouveia, for that wonderful performance of Salud Amor by Edward Elgar. Right, we have not had a reply from Lauren Spence, unfortunately, so that does mean that we will need again to choose yet another name for the prize draw. So let's bring that back up. Okay, so let's try again. 1, 2, 3, and again, if your name is the name that's chosen, please let us know that you're watching live so that we can confirm that you are indeed a winner. So here we go. Let's spin around once more. Guy Simon, if you are watching live with us, please let us know straight away in the live chat so that we can confirm that you are indeed a winner of a bundle of Spiritist books. So Guy Simon, if you are watching with us, please let us know. Right, well, with all that excitement, I think sometimes we need a moment just to just to think, just to reflect. Sometimes we need a moment of, in fact, we actually need a moment of prayer. So how about a little prayer?
Lord God, I'm here again to thank you for all of the wonderful things that you got us, that you, God, gave me. And as always, I like to give my little tips, my suggestions with all humility in my position of a creator talking with the creator. Because I think there are things we do that we shouldn't mess with because they were already good. For example, you made us simple and ignorant. Full stop. Was evolution a good thing? Think now with me. I'm not so sure of it. Life was so much simpler before. Simple and ignorant. Think about the caveman. A life in the caves, a life of eating. Eat, sleep, procreate. We still have these concerns, but now it's much more complicated. For you to eat, you needed to hunt a mammoth. Now you need to hunt for a job, which is harder than a mammoth. Mammoths are extinct and jobs are going the same way. The dream of a caveman is to get an antelope, which is a larger animal running around, fleeing quickly. Nowadays we want a pension, which runs always as fast as an antelope. They changed the law so much that it just slips away. You think you got it? No, everything changed. Now it's in 5 years' time. Lord, communication was far simpler. A caveman would just go, the other, down. Everyone understood each other. They were good. But then came writing. Writing made men elaborate too much. It doesn't go well. Or we could have stopped with papyrus. Papyrus was good. But now there's Twitter. It's a source of hate, of fighting because of politics, Big Brother, because of football. They get slapped because of a single stupid tweet. I really doubt this happened with a papyrus. It didn't. In the caves we had everything we needed. We had art. We managed to express ourselves. On those cave walls we put our paintings, stick men eating and running. It was so innocent. But no, let's go and evolve. So art evolved and turned to what, Mimi? We express ourselves now with Mimi. I don't know, I just put it out there. It's up to you, you're God. Lord, we filled our day with simpler things, more symbolic. Fire. What fascinated us was fire. The natural brilliance of fire. What brilliance interests us now? The light of our phone. We stay all day with our faces glued to it. And you didn't need the latest version that costs 10,000 pounds, where you need to sell your liver just to buy a nullifier. The worst that could happen, and let's think a very old man, already frail, 22 years old, as that be old at the time, a 22-year-old elderly man, the worst that could happen, having spent his days in front of the fire, is to get a bit tanned. But not us. We waste our lives, 80, 70, 100 years with our faces in our phones, and with the luck, life has gone by, and you just stay there. Lord, I think we invented too much fashion, and we literally invented fashion, and fashion itself is a problem. Because back then we didn't have that concern. We put on a capybara skin and go out, we would be fashionable. But not nowadays. It's difficult to match with floral. What do you think? I keep rocking my brains because I like floral. It gives a happy vibe, a laid-back vibe, because I'm like that. But no, at that time, if you put on floral, it would be good because you're already camouflaged in the middle of the forest. And floral at forest is fashionable. I know it's tempting. We create something, we can keep improving it, but it was good there, simple and ignorant, full stop. Because we stopped being simple and ignorant to be complicated and stressed. Was that beneficial for anyone? For humans or divine beings? Because no one is happy. So, you all-powerful, omnipresent, and omnipotent, I ask you just one thing. I'm going to sleep now, and in the morning I want to wake in the Mesozoic era, okay? Mesozoic me, because I can't stand this life anymore. But leave the hot shower. I can't stand cold showers. Thank you, Lord. So be it. The people who stood out at those times are those who were strongest or had a special ability or something. And what stands out nowadays? To get a like. If you just dance on TikTok, you're king of the tribe. Oh, but leave your like, please, folks. I'm just talking here, but likes are really important. Leave your like, subscribe, and click on the bell. We are not cavemen anymore, okay? We need your support.
Okay, I'm being told again that my microphone was on mute yet again. I do apologize. You don't need to put it in the comments that my microphone's on mute. It's okay. I've got someone telling me already. So I'm going to say thank you so much, our dear friends of light, Amigos da Luz from Brazil, for the English version of their video, which has been produced specifically for our event. Amigos da Luz, for those of you who do not know, is a Spiritist comedy channel which brings good reflections in a humorous way. Their videos are in Portuguese, but there will be more English videos to come. So please make sure you go and like and subscribe to their channel as well, which is on YouTube. So just like Fabio was saying just then, please subscribe. It is important. So we still have not heard from our second name for our prize draw. So we're going to have to choose one more name. So again, please. Let's see if that prayer helped. You know, we need a winner. We need a winner, but this will be the last time that we'll spin for this block. If we don't get a response, then there'll be no winner for this block. But let's go. 1, 2, 3. If it's your name that's chosen, please contact us. Please contact us. Michael Legister or Michelle Legister, please contact us if you are watching us live. So again, all these people whose names here, they're the people who selected to be entered into the free prize draw when they registered for their support for this event. So Michael, if you are watching, please contact us straight away. Just put a hello in the chat and that's all you need, and then we'll confirm that you are indeed a winner. And while we wait for Michael, let's say hello to anyone else who is with us. Okay, technical support. Right, okay, there we go. So we have with us Lazaro, Lindalva, Morara, Gerald, Ed Nelson, Stefan, thank you for being with us. Jay Amaral, Renato, Zoraide, Eliani, Gretchen, Geron, Flavia, and many others. And unfortunately, I think we do not have Michael with us. Michael, oh dear. Let me just check backstage. Backstage, shall we do one more spin? Yes? Okay. Production says yes, one more spin. So, I'm sorry, that's one more name removed from this. Let's go again. This will be the last time because we do need to move on a little bit. Round and round it goes. Where it stop? I do not believe it. Zoraide. Your husband Geron won in block 1, and now you have won in block 2. This has not been set up. This is 100% random. But congratulations, Zoraide. You have now won a bundle of Spiritist books. And we know that Zoraide is watching live with us. So congratulations, Zoraide. We'll contact you about the books. Right. There we go. And look, honestly, this is 100% random. We have not set this up. We're not being favoritist to anyone. But, you know, sometimes that happens. And again, well done to Jérôme, because it's the third time in a row. Okay, so where are we going now? Oh, it's now time for our round table. Do we have a slide for that? No, we don't. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring back to the stage our guests for this afternoon. So, let's bring on Charles Kempf, Sonia Araújo, and Anne Sinclair. Hello to you all. Thank you so much for your very wonderful talks, which have left us with many, many questions indeed. And it's a bit difficult to choose exactly which questions we can get through, but we still have a bit of time. So let's see, which question are we going through first? Charles, what would happen to people or spirits that remain only within their comfort zone? How long would you think they would have until the planet moves to the stage of regeneration?
Good question. The spirits or the humans, incarnated or discarnated, which are remaining in their comfort zone, basically they stay stationary, or let's say with a very limited evolution. And of course, some spirits, they stay in this comfort zone during millenniums. It depends on their will. If they don't want to move, they will not move. Nobody will push them or oblige them to move. Now, the question seems to be a little bit concerned. Hey, okay, but the world is moving and I'm not moving. So how long do I still can stay without moving, basically, as I understand? Because depends. It's only God knows. Talking about deaths or deadlines in the future is always something which is very uncertain and risky. I would say the more optimistic ones are telling it's a couple of decades, and the more, I would say, realistic or maybe pessimistic ones like me will say it can be a couple of centuries or generations. So you see, that is basically the deadline. But if I can give an advice, don't stay in your comfort zone and move. Let's be happy as soon as possible. Let's not wait until tomorrow or next life or whatever to be happy. Let's do the work now, because that is exactly about, and we need really to go out of this comfort zone in order to follow these trends and these evolutions towards happiness.
Yeah, I agree absolutely 100% on that. We have to try to get outside of our comfort zone, even if it's completely difficult and petrifying for us, like you showed in your talk. This fear.
Can I say something?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. I always think that there is, we can get paralyzed by fear and by bad experiences into our comfort zone, yes. But life sends us invitations to move all the time. And sometimes invitations come in a very subtle way, through our families, through situations that provoke us, that make us, make the plunge. So when an unexpected situation comes your way, instead of complaining, saying, your bad luck, you say, aha, this is a little push perhaps from my spiritual family saying, come on, you can do this. We want you to help you to move. So it's giving that kind of encouragement. I think that life is always inviting us to progress. Of course, we have free will.
Yeah. Of course, we're talking about experiences in Block 1 as well. So again, anyone who did not have the opportunity to watch Block 1, go and watch it to find out more about those things. Okay, so thank you for those replies to that. Let's see which is the next question for Sonia. Actually, there's lots of questions for Sonia about healing. Actually, this may be for any of you who may know the answer. When was healing with support from spirits first confirmed or first recognized?
Well, healing has been part of humanity in all cultures. We know that people prayed to gods or to goddesses, searching for help for their business or for diseases. So it has always been part of humanity. And that is come by intuition, I guess. But healing in Spiritism, the first time Allan Kardec writes about it in Spiritist magazine, about a healing in the group he was attending when a medium was had a problem with her arm. I think it was broken or something like that. Then she would not be able to make the psychographic writing. And then a spirit through this medium, this woman, a spirit through her tried to put the arm in such a way so it would heal itself. And the spirit said, well, she doesn't need to take to the doctor. This will help if she just follow the instructions. And it's very interesting. It's mentioned in a magazine. I don't remember which one now. Maybe Charles maybe remember, but a very interesting situation. Besides that, he mentions also some spirits come with messages about healing, because people in those groups asked spirits for healing different diseases like blindness. There is this girl attending a group with Allan Kardec, and she wants healing because she was blind. And then a spirit comes and gives a beautiful message about being blind but seeing with the eyes of the soul, that this blindness might be a gift for this girl, because then she would not pollute her vision with things from this material world and would use her soul's eyes instead. So this is what I can say for now about this, very short. Yes.
Yeah, and I remember that there were different stories, and I think Charles know the name of the medium, a young woman medium from Belgium, Desiree Godroot, something like that, who was a very well-known healing medium around the time of Kardec. And there is in fact a wonderful news article from a British newspaper talking about an event where she was supposed to turn up, but she couldn't, unfortunately. But yes, she's exactly one of these mediums who found this healing ability.
And she lost it because it was misused.
Oh.
Yeah.
Désiré Godu.
And that seems to be a common theme as well within various circles. So let's see. A question now for Anne. How can we find peace if we cannot find a minute in the day for myself, or even an hour to attend an enlightening study such as a Spiritist study with all the demands from family and work?
Yes, so this is the dilemma of our modern living time. We are all rushing. But I will pick up on something that I think it was Flavio in the previous group said, and which I do as well. There are times that you have some privacy when you're having your shower. The shower time is a good time to reflect, to Instead of thinking about your supermarket list, or I need to take the kids to school, or whatever's coming next, maybe say, okay, when I go in the shower for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or how long your shower takes, let me just check in on myself. How am I feeling? You know, and so it's not about getting 1 hour, a big chunk of time, but it's taking like bite sizes, 5 minutes. Maybe start off, like saying once a day, or maybe the time you go to bed, or when you're brushing your teeth, you take that time and you're just brushing away, and you start thinking about checking in with yourself. How am I feeling? How's my heart? Am I okay? Is something bothering me? Something that I said, something that somebody else said to me, something that happened, or something that I could have done which I didn't do, something I forgot, and just doing that self-check. So you're checking your emotions, your heart, and you're checking also your mind, your thoughts. Where are your thoughts? And bring them back to yourself. And as I say, in the shower, or when you're brushing your teeth, or sometimes if you have a couple of minutes when you're going to bed and you're winding down, and just take a couple of deep breaths and just check in with yourself. A technique that a lot of people use can be useful as well is to have like a book, like a journal, like a diary or something, and just write down a few keywords that help you sort of think about, okay, I'm feeling really anxious about something at work or something like that. And it just think, why am I feeling anxious about this? So it's about unpeeling it. So when you're looking for your peace, it says, yeah, I'm feeling really anxious because my boss was really mean to me. What does it mean? So you get the feeling, yeah, my boss was really mean, but he is mean. How does that affect me? So under what filter is it coming into me that is making me upset? Yes, he may well be a mean man or woman, but I, instead of giving them, taking the thought away from them and wanting to change them, that's not happening. It's bringing back to me and says, so my boss being mean, it's really upsetting me, it's hurting my heart. And if I don't do something about this, this is going to make me ill long term. So I need to think about what is it that in this meanness or in this event is really affecting me. And it's homeopathic. It's a little bit every day. If you drive to work or you take the bus or something, sometimes that is a moment where you have 5, 10, 15 minutes to look out the window and just check in with yourself, bring your thoughts back to yourself. So this is not selfishness. This is self-love. It's checking in with yourself and say, okay, and starting to get to know yourself. So this really upset me. Why? Because I feel really, he didn't recognize my good work. I feel offended in my pride, or what is it that's actually hurting me? And having that confidence to start to unveil it. I say also, it happens to me sometimes in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I'm having a dream and I have a strong feeling. And I quickly say, why am I having this feeling? Let me write it down. It's fear or it's anger. I write it down. I say, this is something that's bothering me, that's inside me. It's trying to come out to say something to me. So I just write it down by my bed, just the keyword, and go back to sleep. Because by doing that, then I get rid of it. Then when I do in the morning or something, I think, okay, what's this about? Why am I? And you don't have immediate answers. It's a life project. So it's little by little finding those homeopathic moments and not thinking that you have to have a big chunk to go and do it. You will find what is the right time for you and take advantage of it, because it's an investment in your future, which is eternal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people who talk about that, trying to find that just that small moment of calmness and peace each day. Thank you. I think we can go for a few more questions because we still have quite a lot. And anyone who wants to ask anything else, please do. Let's go for another question for Sonia. What do I need to be a good healer? Do I need to be a medium? And do I have protection?
Well, to be a good healer or a healer, you don't need anything, just to have the wish to do so, to have the will, to have the desire in your heart, because everything is healing. Everything we do which is good for someone else, which makes someone else smile, that is healing. But to be a spiritist healer, then you have to observe your thoughts. You have to get to know the Allan Kardec books, the teaching of the spirits, because it's good to know how the connection with the spirit world works. It's good to know how you can contact the spirit world and let the energy flow through you. But you don't need, for being a healer, you don't need anything else than a desire to help your next, to help someone in need, because that will always be healing in itself. When you listen to someone, when you lend a hand to someone in need, that is also healing. And protection, yes, you know, our thoughts are the good thoughts are the best protection we can ask, because they are prayer. Prayer is thoughts that are in harmony with ourselves and with the rest of the world. When we are in harmony, not only inside ourselves, but also our connection with others, and our thoughts are in balance, then this is a prayer. And then we have protection from the good spirits. Because we have to remember that, like the other speaker, Lolita, said in the first block, the guardian angels, everybody has a guardian angel. So the moment someone is in need and I have a desire to help this person, then my guardian angel or my spirit guide will contact the guardian angel of the person, and they will work together so the help can come to this person. So that's how what you call healing at the distance works, because all the thoughts we send towards someone else who is a good thought, which is a good thought, that is healing.
And I think one thing that you touched on there is this thing that the Spirits book can teach us a lot is affinity. That our thoughts, our energy, we attract what we have a good affinity with. And so if we want positive spirits, positive energies around us, we have to do positive things as well. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you for that. So there's a question for Charles now. What is the next stage of evolution? And I think it means a spiritual evolution after the stage of regeneration.
Yeah, good question. There is a classification made by Allan Kardec about the primitive worlds, where we have really the first incarnation. Then we have the second stage, which is our one, the world of atonements and trials. And the next one is regeneration. And after regeneration, then we come to higher level worlds, which are already where the good is really prevailing strongly over the evil. There is still maybe a little bit of evil, but almost nothing anymore. And those are really the happy worlds. There are, I don't remember right now exactly the classification. I would have to look in the books. I don't know it by heart. There are something like 10 levels that Kardec is defining, knowing that our one currently, the Earth is going from level 2 currently to the level 3, which is the regeneration. And in the regeneration, world of regeneration, it's not yet a good world in the fact that the evil is still existing, but it is more balanced with the good. Whilst today the evil is on our Earth still dominating, and so we will come to some more equilibrium between both. But what we know for sure is the more we advance, the happier it will be. Of course, here we are at the stage 2, one of the hardest one. It's not the one, the primitive as per, what's the name of the guy who who made this prayer in the interval. Simple and ignorant. So it's not for painting the hands on the walls of the caverns and hunting mammoth or whatsoever. We are not at that stage anymore, but yet we still have quite some way to go. But what we are sure is we are going there. As in our rhythm, quicker or slower, but we are going that. And this is exactly this vision that Spiritism is bringing, the continuous evolution through the several incarnations. And that is our destiny.
Yeah. Okay, we still have quite a lot more questions here, so let's go through a few more. Sonia, given the significant overlap of spiritual knowledge, what is the historical and contemporary relationship among Spiritist and indigenous communities in Brazil, as well as other parts of the Americas?
Oh, that is a great question, maybe a little bit sophisticated for my person, because I'm not so sure I understand the question. But if I understand it correctly, you would like to know the relationship between what the indigenous people communities, what they believe, and what we believe in Spiritism, or what the spirits say about the spiritual world. Well, what we see in these communities, they are very much in contact with nature, and nature, what you call nature spirits. They have this intuitive feeling that there is an invisible world which they can pray to and can help them with their their needs. And that is not only the indigenous people, but all old ancient communities and other tribes. They all have a kind of belief and rituals for getting in contact with forces in nature. So what in Spiritism, what is different is that it's a more logical approach. The spirits show themselves, or they communicate with Allan Kardec through mediums, and Allan Kardec direct them some questions, and they answer. And Allan Kardec analyzes the answers of these spirits. So, and then he correlates and make this teaching available to us. He organizes. So Spiritism is more logical, because when you read the answers the spirits gave, they are in. It's possible to see reason behind these answers, and you can follow it. So it's not only mystic, it's something we can experience ourselves, and if not yet, then one day, then there will be a point we will be able to analyze that question. So that is my poor answer to this question, which I think it's a very good question. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so do any of you have questions for each other at the moment?
I would maybe complete the answer to the previous question. So it's in the Gospel According to Spiritism, where he's saying that there are several, houses in the reign of my father. And after the worlds of expiation and atonement, we have the regeneration. And then after those, we have the happy worlds of happiness.
Yep, great. Thank
and
you, Charles.
after those, we still have the divine or celestial worlds and so on.
Yeah. I would like to make a question to Charles, and this regeneration period, which is about to come, and we all are excited, expecting. Charles, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of world we can expect? How will people be towards each other when we are these regenerated people, these regenerated spirits incarnate and are living here? How can we imagine the world? How can we imagine the human relationship to each other, business and everything?
There will be more fraternity, more solidarity. I think nobody will miss the necessary to survive anymore. I think also the world's all these leaders which are putting their own personal interest in front of the interest of the collectivity, they will be somehow pushed away by the population, by the vox populi, who will not more accept this type of things. The people will have, how to say, grow a little bit in intelligence, grow also in discernment, you see. Today we have things like these fake news, manipulations, complotist theories and whatever. I mean, we all think we are already autonomous, but again, we still miss this basic judgment and discernment. So this will also grow. And at the end, of course, I'm sure there will still be some selfishness here or there, but not to the point that we see today, having millions of people dying in conflicts, and because they don't have the necessary. And see what happened in Poland or in Belarus recently, and all these things. There will be different reactions. Okay, the people, they will judge their leaders on their behaviors in favor of the collectivity, and not anymore by blah blah blah, as per the words that our what's the name of this Swedish young lady, Greta Thunberg. There is also more respectful for the planet. So these are clearly the direction we see them. It's already at our how to say, we can grab these things. It's just a question of will from our side, just to go that path, to go that direction. Of course, it's not so easy. Anna Sinclair explained it very, very well. You do not get rid of selfishness and pride without having a strong will, and maybe also some trials to improve your patience and whatever, so that you are more prudent and so on. And I showed also the helps of like COVID. We had quite some time to think about. I think the former question that you have no minute for yourself. All of a sudden, everything is blocked. You are at home. Okay, what do? I cannot go out. You have it's time to think about. And this is also through these economic difficulties that are pointing slowly but surely. We will also go to a leaner way of living and so on. So we have this external factor, these collective trials, which are exactly here to accelerate this movement.
And I just wanted to add something, if that's okay, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot. Like the COVID, it has provoked us into thinking about a world that could be different. Even from things like we were getting 1 million, Amazon delivery of everything in the planet, because people were doing all the shopping. And then suddenly people got tired of getting so many things. Why am I getting all these things? I don't need all these things. But sometimes you have to satisfy that need to have them, to realize you don't need them. So then you've gained that experience that you don't need them. But what we're thinking about, and this comes to something my daughter, when she was younger at school, she was saying school is not the school we go to in England nowadays. Is still a school for the 19th century, for the times of developing industrialization and things, creating people to be like little clogs to put in the machinery. She says, the modern day kids, we need to learn in a creative way. We're going to work on computers. We are different. I said, wow, you're telling me some interesting things. But not only that, so our educational system is still economically sort of not aligned with the progress that society is made in terms of the work environment, but also is what do we teach our children? And we thinking about our society in Europe is a very competitive society, because those who will be successful are those who are the best. So be the best student, the fastest runner, the biggest whatever, the one who shouts the loudest, thinking this is what we reward in society. Always do your best, do your best, do your best, that you will get the reward, you will get the higher salary, the better job, and that exposure in society. But that is starting to fall a little bit hollow now, because we've done that. It's taken us somewhere in our evolution, but it has not satisfied us, because we've achieved that, and what now? We feel this emptiness inside. So as we evolve as a society coming into the world of regeneration, we need to start educating our children and ourselves when we come again in a different way, in a way of collaboration, of working together. What is the mark of success? Not to be better than others, but to take others with us, to work as a group, as a community and fraternity. And I think all these things will start coming through, even through the schools, because the young people, they want this. They will push it through themselves, because they say what we are offering them in terms of society is not satisfying them. Why are we doing this? Why don't we have any time? Why do we work like crazy to have money in the bank account, or like they say, to have a pension, and you have no time to even look at yourself or to hug your friends? What is really, really important? There is a revolution coming. So I think what the spirits brought in the 19th century slowly now will become more relevant, because the tectonic sheets of our society are starting to move, and when the movement gets big enough, it's going to create like some big changes, and we can feel that coming by looking backwards, like looking at the younger generation. They're going to pass by us and say ciao, and we are going to wait for me, because they're saying the society you've built is not really satisfying our needs.
And the big trigger for this is reduction of the materialist vision and growth of the spiritualist vision, because then the point of view is completely different, and that is really the best stimulation for us to make this work towards to become better person every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And just also on that slight topic, and also going back to the previous question for you, Charles, do all planets go through these phases, such as regeneration?
I mean, I would say yes. There are several phases in several planets. I would maybe not say absolutely all, and it's more also a question of the inhabitants. We, the humans, are going through these phases more than the Earth itself. Who knows that some billions years ago, the Earth, when it was not yet suitable for having incarnated spirits developing like us in the human form, maybe there were some more evolved spirits inhabiting the Earth. So it's a difficult question. I mean, let's see and focus on the Earth itself. There is also some discussion about the Mars, the next planet in the solar system. Now several missions have been there, and nobody has seen these small greens people living there. Yet seems to be more and more evidence that there was water not so long ago on Mars, and that it is totally possible that there have been some forms of life similar to our ones. But again, then you have also different forms of life, living beings, and maybe the one which are not incarnated anymore, which have only the spirit and the perispirit. Of course, they are not detected by the cams of the robots we are sending there. So all this has to be taken into question. The only thing we know is there are all these worlds in these different stages, and our one is, let's say, stage 2 going to stage 3, and we are incarnated in the one where we have the most opportunity to evolve according to our current level of evolution. So the world is not the home of the angels. And I am here in this world because I am not an angel. As simple as this.
Yep.
Not yet an angel, let's say so, to stay positive.
Well, hopefully we'll all get there at some point.
Maybe I would like to make a comment to that, if possible,
Sure.
to Charles, because it is interesting, right? Because it's a law, and when something is a law, a universal law, a cosmic law, then it happens all over. There cannot be difference. So all planets go through development as we are developing as humans now, and this development happens for all beings, but we are all at different levels, and planets can also be at different levels as galaxies and so on.
Yes, and we could even add, look what's happening. How many species of living beings have disappeared already in the last decades? Will the world tomorrow be much better physically, materially, as it was 100 years ago? Not sure, not sure. So, but yet the spirits which are living here, this one, yes, for sure, are evolving, and the humanity in its whole is also evolving. And we will have to come back in a world with 2 or 3 or 4, or only God knows how many Celsius more, with some areas which are not livable anymore, and needing a lot of efforts on our side. The law of cause and effect will apply to us. It's not only for our children, it's for us. We will come back here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it will be a better world. I mean, I think otherwise it could, if it would get too unstable, you know, because when we really will have these big problems, you see now you have 10,000 of people willing to leave their countries with dictature and whatever to come to Europe. They see our way of living in the movies, in the internet, whatever. I mean, it's just normal. Imagine you are in a country, there is no school, no hospital, no work, nothing. You would also be willing to move. And today you see how many blockages and whatever is happening. Definitively, in a century from now, this will not be possible anymore. We will be obliged to have this solidarity. Otherwise, the world will not be possible to live anymore. And all these things are, let's say, going in parallel. And the COVID and this global warming and so on are things just to come to, hey, wake up.
Yeah.
I just add, it's interesting. There is obstetrician, as French actually, where he lives in England. Because of my background, I'm a midwife, and he writes a lot about birth. But he writes a book which is really interesting, and he says that when you look, he's not spiritist or anything like that, but he says when you look at human evolution, he says we are coming to the point where the choice of love will be the choice of survival of the species. Because if we do not love and work with one another, we will end up by eliminating ourselves. So he said it will become not like a rational decision, but like a biological sort of impulse that we will end up by loving one another, because that was what we will need in order to survive. I think it's quite interesting to have that approach, saying like, because we are so ingrained for our survival, that then if this is what we need to do, this is what, you know, so that our progress, our evolution will push us towards love and solidarity, because without it we will not survive realistically, you know, as a species. It's very interesting. It came to my mind.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for all those wonderful answers. And we do still have a couple of questions, but we don't really have too much more time. So do you have any last considerations for us? Let's go with Charles first.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Thanks to the Kardec Group for this opportunity. Thanks also to all the listeners. And okay, let's go. Let's go out of our comfort zone and let's go progressing towards happiness.
Sonia?
Yes, I would like to thank the group, this Kardec Group, which made this encounter possible. And thanks to Charles and Anne and Adam, especially you, who has been behind the camera the whole day. And I really hope this will become a tradition. So and I wish all the best for this event online. And to the people that has watched this today, I would like to thank them for their attention and yes, send us questions that will push us towards more study. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
Yes. Okay. I make my thanks equal to Sonia, to thanking everybody, not only for all the speakers today and Adam and the ladies behind the scenes, but also to the audience of today and the audience of the future. I'll just say one thing, that you don't have to learn everything in one day. Choose your topics according to your need. So where is your thirst? Where are your questions? What's bothering you? What's making you unhappy? Look for those answers. In the Spirit's book, in the Gospel According to Spiritism, in Heaven and Hell, in the Medium's book, in all these books, you will find answers to pretty much all the questions that you can come up with. But you don't try to understand it all in one go. Just focus on what you're really interested in, and then you go expanding like a spiral and just growing it around. And then that will really bring you lots of answers. I hope so.
okay, thank you. So again, thank you so much for all those reflections, for those answers, and for everything that you've been able to share with us today. So I'm going to pop you all backstage and I'll come and talk to you at the end of the event. So let's say thank you once more to Charles Kempf, to Sonia Araújo, and to Anne Sinclair. Thank you for being with us. And like they said, thank you for everyone who's been out there watching with us today. So please remember to still give us a little like and subscribe when you can. Come to the Kardec Group YouTube channel. Give us a like and subscribe. And again, anyone who didn't have a chance to watch Block 1, you can go and watch it now, because we're about to wrap up Block 2, because that is now the end of Day 1 of SPiritismx 2021. So thank you again to Charles, Sonia, and Anne for being with us. And I'll be back with you tomorrow at 1 p.m. GMT for Block 3 of SPiritismx, and we'll also have Block 4 at 4:30 GMT. So stay safe, and we hope to see you tomorrow.